Right, okay, so on to this week's Street Talk. As we say, this is just Monday and Wednesday's episodes we're talking about. We are not able to record on Friday. I'm mostly just talking to the people on YouTube who are listening.
Hello.
Now. The audio
like
listeners
subscribe.
know already. Like and subscribe if you're on YouTube.
Hype us.
The Friday episode is going to have to bundle itself into next week's, so look out for that then. But anyway, we're going to be talking about the two episodes, what we think about the Swala, revelations and developments, and what's going on with Becky and everything else. But first, we do have some clickbait. Thank you very much to Jonathan for sending it in early.
Yes, thank you, Jonathan.
Gemma's got some this week for me. She's going to test me out.
Right, from the Manchester Evening News.
Play along at home.
Coronation Street fans make Becky Swain looming observation amid chilling siege prediction.
Oh. A looming prediction?
No, they make Becky Swain looming observation. Amid chilling siege prediction.
So they're predicting a siege? Oh, is it like a siege at the police station? Is there going to be a siege at the police station there? Or is there going to be a siege at number 6? Is Becky going to take Carla and Lisa... kidnap hostage at number 6?
I don't think anyone said specifically where, but I think the factory is a big favourite.
Okay.
But I would love it to be the police station.
Well, yes, we're all begging for more police station scenes, aren't we?
Yeah, blow the bloody place up. Are you kidding me? Can you imagine how awesome it would be if she recruited some bent coppers and then they had this massive, really elaborate with firearms and bombs and riot gear, and it could be really actually cool. It would make it worthwhile even having a police station
just so they could blow it up. Well, we've talked about them. We said we wanted them to blow up the hospital, so why not the police station?
But this country, we don't have is there ever any, touch wood, we don't have things like armed sieges with police and gangsters
often, no.
and bombs and guns like in the beginning of a Batman film or something. And they often film Batman films in Manchester. It's for Gotham. Yeah, they just filmed one recently.
Oh, okay.
So why not do something along those lines? But Becky is the Joker.
Was I right about my prediction? Are people predicting that Becky's going to
go on the run,
Lisa and Carla
kidnap
hostage?
Carla or Lisa and whatever?
Well, it seems like everyone's definitely going down the route of it. She's going to be a wrong-un.
Imagine if she turned out to just be really nice and misunderstood.
Well, I've quite enjoyed it this week, to be honest.
You're chaotic. Right, Coronation Street fans work out Becky Swain's love interest on the cobbles, and it's not Lisa. This is from the Leicester Mercury.
that is a writes itself headline, doesn't it? Love interest on the cobbles, and it's not Lisa. Is it one of our other LGBTQ characters on the street? Can I have that? I don't think there is anyone particular.
Who the hell are you talking about?
Is it Gadass? Is Becky going to go after Gadass? The perfect combination of law and medical.
Law and medical. That's my favourite show. No. It's not Dr. Gadass because everyone's forgotten she existed.
Yeah, we haven't had enough Gadass action at all this year.
Bring back Dr. Gadass, please.
Who is it then? Is it somebody?
It's a lady.
Is it a lady who has shown it? Is it Tracy?
No.
Oh.
It's a lady anyone would fancy.
Are you just trying to trick me?
No.
With your wifely ways?
No, I don't care who you fancy.
A lady anyone would fancy. I can't think. Who's beautiful on the street? Is it the radiant Leanne or Toya, or is it a lovely Sally?
Can I tell you that these women would all win you with their personalities, apart from the Emperor?
Glenda.
Yes, it's Glenda.
You
only have to look across the room to be in love with Glenda.
If I was a lady and a lesbian, I'd go after Glenda myself. But luckily, I don't need to jump through quite so many hoops as
that. No, it's fine to just fancy her as you are. Anyone can fancy anybody. That is my free pass, Gemma? Do what you want. What do you think?
She's not real.
Exactly. Coronation Street fans rumble. Becky and Costello passed as they're hiding something. Manchester Evening News.
Okay. Is this all Swala related? This is great. Well,
pretty much.
You put the prediction out there on Twitter this week that that Becky and Costello's secret love child was Ollie.
That was your idea.
It was my idea, but you tweeted it.
That's right, blame me.
Is it that Ollie is the secret love child of Costello and Becky?
No, but I will tell you that the
happen.
Leicester Mercury also did a headline that I didn't copy over.
Oh.
So I'm having to load it on my very slow phone, which will tell me in any minute.
Can you give me...
ITV Coronation Street, Costello's secret son unveiled, and he's already on the cobbles.
Oh, is that Ollie?
And that is Ollie, yeah. And apparently on Reddit they already guessed this.
Well, I thought of it myself. Okay, so that's Costello and Lisa have a secret.
They rumble their past as they're hiding something.
What are they? I don't know.
It's obvious.
They were...
We just basically said it.
Oh, was that it?
No.
Secret love child?
No, they're just having an affair. They had an affair.
Oh, okay.
Or Becky and Tia had an affair.
Could be.
This is all swallow. There's nothing... Nobody's talking about anything else. And
But again, poor Tyrone.
This is exactly what happened with Debbie too, where you can say what you like about the decision and whether you think it's a good idea or not, but you cannot deny that it has caused so much online discourse and I don't think
tongues wagging
and
those
don't
fingers
think
tapping.
Anything else has been as close to how much coverage both of these Debbie and Becky, both those characters, have generated.
Well, I expect Kate Brooks is feeling quite pleased with herself.
Does she get paid every time somebody tweets?
Shall we add to that discourse, Gemma and Chat?
No, because I haven't finished.
I thought I was making a lovely segue there, but go on.
ITV Coronation Street viewers notice mistake as they ask, how? From the Liverpool Echo.
That's far too vague, Liverpool Echo, but it gets me wondering what it could be. Is it Swallow related?
Clickbait, yeah, it is.
A mistake about last week's Coronation Street.
It's a mistake.
A mistake in inverted commas. Becky walks into number 6 despite not having a key for it.
It's sort
many
of
times
along that lines. It's Becky just wandering around and she hasn't bumped into Betsy.
Okay, well there we go.
She did.
Thank you, you lovely tabloid journos, for providing us with some lovely material.
For creating these hilarious clickbaits, because they really do get you every time.
As I was saying, shall we add to this swallow discourse by chatting about this week's Coronation Street?
Yeah.
Let's go it. Let's do it.
Well, only one thing happened, really.
What?
Becky.
That happened last week.
I know, but it's still going on, isn't it?
It's definitely going on. It's really kind of... I suppose we ought to get it out of the way quickly. If you might have picked it up from the shorts that we did, but we were both kind of in agreement that Monday's episode didn't really do it for us, weren't we? We I think part of it could be down to us being jolly tired after our very, very late night in London the previous night. But yeah, I think the wind kind of went out the sails a little bit there. But I picked up for me on Wednesday, but you still are not. You're still kind of a bit in the doldrums with it, aren't you?
I just think I was so excited about the concept, and I really don't think that they would have been able to ever pass up this golden opportunity to have somebody come back from the dead. I think that it would have always been brewing. And I love the idea, but I think it's something you can only do once a soap.
I don't know whether EastEnders has got something about that. Cindy Beale, Dirty Den.
Well, I personally really think it has to be used very judiciously. And I do feel a bit like it was wasted on a character that we don't know. Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, because to us, she could have been dead or alive. We don't know who she is, and it's not like she's come back. Oh, and she's different, or she's changed, or anything. It's like I don't know who this woman is. I suppose what we would need to do, and I've not really given this any thought, is have a look at which Coronation Street characters have been reportedly killed off screen, that potentially didn't actually die and could come back. There must be some out there. My continual... Elsie Tanner, maybe. My continual, what's the word? What? Pledge. Yeah. If I'm going to put somebody forward, is Imran, because I really think that they could have done the story with him being dead, because... Oh, for sure. Because it was so unexpected when he died... And he did collapse, and I guess we saw him die, but do you really believe he's dead? I don't. And also, he was involved in crime, and he's a solicitor, so they could have gone down the same. I think was saying about, wasn't I saying about, what's it called, witness protection and all that stuff, and I was talking about him, and it would have been great, because it would have been somebody that we wanted or a lot of people wanted to be alive again.
I think as much as I would adore for Imran to come back on the show, I think the fact that we saw his funeral, we saw his grieving mother, didn't we?
Well, yeah, but if you're to believe that, Becky had a funeral.
So. Maybe it was that car that stopped off next. Do you remember when
Oh my god!
That car that parked up there.
I still can't believe that they put that in. Who directed that? I need to get them on the show. What were you think? What was going on? Please explain.
Oh, but I don't know. I need to, maybe that's the Patreon episode for us. Top 5 characters who have died off screen that could potentially come back.
You just know that, yeah, exactly. Well, I think we have done that.
Have we?
I don't know.
Oh, I don't know.
But you just know that who was in charge of production on that scene is like. These people are so annoying. Why are they picking on everything? It's just a random car. Get over yourselves.
Wednesday's episode, I really, really want to like this because, like I said last week on the episode, this is the most I have been gripped by anything Swalery since it started. And that's not to say that I haven't enjoyed it. I have. But this was the moment that was like, I'm really into this now. And it's funny because lots of hardcore Swala fans go right the opposite and saying, no, this is exactly what I don't want. But I embrace the silly soapiness of it, and that's not particularly like me to do. I would say. Well,
I love drama, so I was into the idea of this, but I think what's the word? The how it's been done.
Yeah.
What's that?
There is a word for that, isn't there? The how it's been done of it.
The how it's been done of it has really, really let me down.
In practice. It's a really impossible situation to explain, and you can pick holes in it very easily, and you can say, well, I don't think so and so would react like this, or I think so and so would be asking more questions, and I'm just trying to, because I really want to continue enjoying it, I'm telling myself like, well, you don't know how somebody would react. You don't know what questions they'd ask because no one's ever really in real life been in this question.
Yeah, that
such situation.
Makes sense.
And I'm actually really, really enjoying Amy's portrayal of Becky, and I don't know whether that puts a target on my back, but I was looking at the podcast last week. I wasn't championing Becky or saying justice for Becky or anything like that. I think that what she's done and going away to Spain and not contacting her kids, I totally get Lisa's reaction as being how dare you. And I'm questioning, well, why would she do this? Why now exactly? But I will say that I absolutely loved Betsy's eventual reaction, when it was just like, I want to give you a hug, because kind of what kid wouldn't? And I know she's not a kid anymore. I know she was only 16 last year, but she's grown up before our very eyes. And I think lots of children who supposedly, we've been told that Betsy had a very, very close relationship with Becky. You would just want to cuddle, I think, despite everything, despite the lies, despite the betrayal.
Yeah.
So I like that side of it, and I enjoyed how on Wednesday we got this revelation and it wasn't dragged out for however long. So I'm back on the Becky's back train, and I'll take the synopsising of this if you like, our Beck from the Dead story. But so we had that, and then after that we've got everything to do with Tyrone and his coma, the flat Tyrone storyline, which was a terrible title still a week later, but everything involving Carl and Brody and all that. What are your kind of general thoughts? That's not gripping me as much. Like I said last week, it's just like it's another, he'll never walk again.
What's the next story?
2 T's in a pod.
What's that?
That's Tyrone and... No, sorry, not Tyrone. That's Todd and Theo. I based it on their novelty key rings. They had 2 key rings with T's on Monday's episode, when we were really, really paying attention.
Didn't I come up with that joke?
No, I think I did. And they're in a pod because, well, maybe it's a pad.
I thought I'd come up with it, and Rachel thought it was hilarious.
Maybe you did. I think maybe...
I don't very often come up with jokes, so I've got to defend myself.
Maybe you did. 2 T's and a... Yeah, so the Tyrone story, and I love Tyrone. I really, really love Fizz. Every single member of that family I enjoy. And I've seen some Cassie hate out there this week because...
No.
Because people really, really don't enjoy... Some people really, really don't enjoy Cassie. And maybe stealing new baby balloons from a nearby ward isn't really the done thing to do. But I don't mind because I enjoy Cassie. And but yeah, the story in its own is just like, okay. I suppose the fact that he is being told, it could be years to your recovery. In some ways, I'm thinking, well, Okay, maybe that's interesting. Is it? Is Tyrone in a wheelchair interesting? I don't know. Or is it just different? Will he have a miraculous recovery? Betsy was only just told, 3-4 months ago.
You'll always have a funny arm.
You'll always have a funny arm. And now her arm is completely mirthless. Yeah. So I don't know. But the prospect of Tyrone in a wheelchair doesn't necessarily fill me with sparks of joy and imagination and what could they do with that. Not as much as Jim McDonald in a wheelchair did in the 90s at least. And Tyrone and Theo, that seems to be... No,
Todd and Theo.
I just can't do it. 3
Too many
T's
T's.
it should be. Todd and Theo.
They already did that.
They did do 3T, didn't they? Todd and Theo. That should have been on. Did anyone else listening notice... Sorry, I was just going to... Did anyone else notice the banging soundtrack to Wednesday's episode? They had some proper 90s hits in the Rovers and other places. A particular favourite of ours, I Wanna Be the Only One by Eternal. Excellent song there.
I love that. What's the other Eternal song?
Their one and only other.
'Cause I can't pretend.
I don't know.
I used to listen to that when I was playing Sim Ants.
I think the only Eternal song is I Wanna Be the Only One.
I don't think it was Eternal. We tied and don't let go.
Who knows?
Don't let go.
No, that was On Vogue, wasn't it?
Yes, On Vogue. I love that. I had a tape of it, right? And it was only that single on both sides of the tape. And I would sit there for hours and hours and hours just putting the tape and flipping it and putting the tape on and flipping it. So,
well, look,
if parents these days...
I think we're showing our age here.
are fed up with their kids doing boring stuff, at least you don't have to listen to On Vogue, the same song over and over again, while your child plays Sim Ants.
Because that's not the sort of music that you would listen to at all.
I really don't like R&B. I think it's boring, but I love that song.
Anyway, good soundtrack on Wednesday, whoever it was that put that together. What was I saying? What was I talking about? Yeah, Theo and Todd moving into with each other. Yeah, okay, I suppose it's the natural next step for the story. This is where the isolation is going to be ramped up, I guess.
Isolation Street.
But it felt a little bit samey to me, as did the Carl and Brody and Dylan scenes. They're really just going round and round in circles. But we did have a bit of a shocking revelationary twist about Carl's involvement in the Tyrone's accident, didn't we, at the end of Monday? So that was kind of exciting, I guess. Gemma's literally sighing with excitement here.
Why did he
she acts in different ways.
Throw his Zippo lighter onto a fire? It's not disposable. Well, he's going to have to pick that back up.
You've got to throw something around now that disposable vapes aren't available.
Was that not... I thought if you wanted to start a fire, you just put a vape in a bread box.
Yes, he could learn some tips from Hope, couldn't he?
Hope would have done it for free.
Yeah. So,
honestly, this week, to me, was one of the most boring weeks I've ever seen.
Have you got a score in mind that you're going to give it, or are you going to just figure it out as we're chatting?
I felt all the way through, watching Becky and Lisa and stuff, I was just waiting for something to make sense and click. And it felt as though everyone was in a dream and they weren't really asking questions or finding anything weird. And I know that there has to be a certain level of suspension of disbelief to make the story work. But that is probably why you shouldn't have done it, because... it just doesn't fit in Coronation Street. And I know that loads and loads of people have been saying this for years, like, oh, this story isn't Coronation Street. And I've never really felt that until this story. I've never felt like I'm not watching Coronation Street. Even with all of the hospital scenes and the police station scenes and stuff, I've still managed to be able to feel a vibe of like realism to it. Even with the most ridiculous things, it still felt to me like, okay, I feel like this is Corrie. Even Pat Phelan killing people in abandoned mills didn't put me off as much as this has. This
is the jump the shark moment for
this you. This genuinely it has put Corrie into a new era. I think that the Coronation Street now is in it. This is a new era for Corrie, where I think that considerations of realism have just completely been blown out of the water, and I'm finding it very challenging to really believe anything now that's happening in the show. Like
they warned us with Toya's dead baby.
I'm not worried. I'm not worried about Tyrone. I'm not interested in that. To me, I've seen so many medical struggle storylines now that I just don't care anymore. I've got no empathy left in me at all. Yeah, I don't.
Totally.
I'm really sorry to say it's turned me into just an evil always have been evil, but I just can't bring myself to care. My cup is empty. This is a television show. It's not a real person. I feel bad, but I just don't care about him. He's not real.
It's not.
Stop trying to guilt trip me. Every time I turn this program on, I'm being guilt tripped about some kind of thing. There's some kind of sad thing that's going to happen. And I bet you, even though he is like facing paralysis and like years of rehab, which we know won't happen, it'll be fine by Christmas. He's not going to cry as much as everybody else in the Swala storyline is going to be crying, because the Weatherfield Waterworks Award is only ever given to women.
Yeah, this is true, actually. I mean, this kind of story, you'd think it'd be perfect for one of the Corrie's beautiful ladies to rock on the cover. But no, maybe not. Maybe we had Paul, I suppose, didn't we, with his medical dramas. I don't think, and I don't think I'm alone in thinking this, that we needed an extra medical story squeezed in amongst Debbie's dementia and Toya's cancer, and Kevin's cancer and Paul's MND.
And Debbie's dementia is the main one for me. And then we've also got this week the ongoing shenanigans of car theft, and I don't care about them either. I don't. And I know it sounds really callous. I care about these people when they're doing stuff I'm interested in. But I just got to let it, you know, when you've got to cut strings sometimes and like say, I can't be your emotional whipping boy for the rest of my life. That's what I feel with Coronation Street. It's just pushed me now to empathy. Like, I'm devoid of it.
It's not that I don't care about Tyrone because I've definitely got a soft spot for him.
Well, he's one of your favourite couple, you know.
Yeah, I love the family. It is just a case of we've seen people being told time and time again, oh, this is a dire prognosis, and largely it's been fine.
And I really hate to say this as well, but because Coronation Street is an ensemble show and we've already gone through so many sad things very, very recently, like proper emotional turmoil, with Paul especially and now with Debbie coming up, the idea that I'm supposed to really feel sad for Tyrone is just kind of leaving me cold. And it's really, do you know, it's bonkers because he's a major character who's been in it for decades.
He is. He's one of these characters that they do kind of put in a cupboard for a bit, don't they? You know, 15 odd years ago, maybe not quite that far, we had the Tyrone and Kirsty story, and he was the major star of 2012, 2011 kind of era Coronation Street, and then they just went years without him doing anything other than falling through the attic floor. And then he had the Alina affair, and he feels like a character that they should use a heck of a lot more, and somebody with the legacy that Tyrone's got, but I guess they don't.
I guess the counter to this would be, what do you want then? What do you want it to be about? What can we make the show about? Because we've done everything.
Just do it again.
I just honestly the mechanics and the everyday struggle of like coping with a disability, which is what this story is going to be about. I feel like we just did it with Paul, and it's not to say it's not an important story, but I mean, didn't they do it really well with Paul? I think they did, and it was like a couple of years ago.
Yeah. It was last year.
It makes me feel like such a massive bitch to be complaining about things, but there's only so much that we can all take.
Well, I get the kind of the feeling that the Tyrone story isn't going to be a big one. It's going to kind of simmer along in the background. I think that the Becky story is going to be at the forefront for a little while, so we might just have to kind of swallow that or learn to like it, like I'm still saying I'm doing at the moment.
Do you find Becky really hard to read?
Ooh, I suppose there is somewhat of an air of mystique to her. She's
got no confidant.
She's got no confidant. She's
really kind of underplaying. It feels like I'm not criticizing Amy Cunning's performance, because I do think that this is the point of the character, but she really does feel like she's just kind of like, yeah, okay, I'll accept. You know, I'm going to argue, but I'm going to agree with you that I'm going to do what you say, Lisa. I'll be like, no, I'm seeing my kid. What do you mean? And I'll be crying and I'll be begging for her to take me back. It really feels like she's come into this scenario going, yes, I am terrible. I did betray you. I don't I don't think we can get back together, and I understand that you don't want me to see my kid, even though I really, really want to. Why hasn't she come back fighting for her family? Is it because she's really, really sneaky and she's playing a long game here?
I don't
because
think
a lot of
she
people
is.
think that's what is actually happening.
We were saying last week that we think that Becky's going to become a villain, and I don't think
better
the way
do.
she's behaving at the moment doesn't feel like the beginning of a villain's arc. She feels like someone who genuinely just wants to reconnect with her daughter, to me. Yes, she's been going through some dodgy things in the past and she's been keeping these secrets, but she comes across to me as being quite genuine, and she just wants to...
It does to me.
Everyone else is being a bit hysterical about her, as you would. And I think she's coming in calm. Everyone else is reacting to this mega shock, and it's not a shock for her because she's known about it all along. You know what I mean? And she's just trying to say, "Look, I just want to see my daughter." So that's how
I'm really struggling. I'm so much struggling with this.
Well, you know, there's plenty more time for you to like it, and I hope that you are able to.
I feel like I can't articulate exactly what it is that I think. The performances have all been really great, but I just feel like there's something really big missing from all of this, and it makes it feel like it's not really happening.
Well, I mean, I suppose, yeah, I'm just kind of thinking that the big thing is still to come. What?
What do you mean the big thing's still to come?
Well, you know, maybe there is going to be a big shock. Maybe there is going to be that
This
hostage.
was the big shock.
Yeah, it was the big shock, but maybe there's more. Maybe she's going to ramp things up, or... I don't know.
I'm super disappointed with this week. Really, really disappointed.
Well, yeah. So as I said earlier, do you have a score in mind that you're going to give it, or are you going to mull it over the course of the next hour and a half?
I think I pretty much know what I'm going to give it. But like, I'll tell you another thing as well, is that no one's talking to each other. Like, Lisa and Carla are not really talking to each other about what they're thinking. That's probably what is missing. Like, there hasn't been a scene where Carla's gone, holy crap, what the S is happening? Can you effing believe this S?
Maybe there is, they just couldn't show it.
But you know what I mean? Like, it just feels as though Carla's gone, okay, I'm going to take a step back and be the mature one and let you guys sort it out. Let me know if you need any tea and coffee and some biscuits in the tin. Like, I'll be like, excuse me, what the hell is going on here?
Carla
you
tried
sit down. What? Explain yourself. Like, it doesn't feel like anyone's out. Like, she's not outraged at all. She's just like, like she's been really, really, what's the word? Chill about it. And I guess you would say that she's in shock, but there are certain situations where a character can't act 100% naturalistic because it just doesn't work on television. You have to have big bombastic reactions. Everybody can't just be like, oh, let's just be chill about it. Like, Carla, what is Carla thinking? That's my main problem. Yeah. What is Carla thinking? She's just lurking around in the background with beautiful cheekbones, sitting on staircases, looking sad.
I think that she wants to help bring some sort of amiable, because she went and got. One that arranged. She arranged for Becky to go and see Lisa again, didn't she? Because she knows that she's going to keep on lurking. She's not going to give up.
Yeah, Becky
wouldn't. Becky won't. So she's like saying, "Well, come on, let's get on with this. Or just bang your heads together," kind of thing.
But Lisa's also not really. I think she shut her down before about conversations to do with what's happening. But I just really need them to talk and kind of to go, this is like the weirdest thing that's ever happened to me. I just think that somebody needs to acknowledge that this is bonkers.
Well, the
I know that Lisa's done it a few times, but if Carla is like, yeah, well, you know, I'm in a soap.
The reaction that we didn't particularly enjoy, the way that it was played, was Ryan's, wasn't it? Because he was kind of making sarky comments. I can't remember what some of the things he was
cracking jokes like, oh, this is weird, or like, I'm gonna have a drink because this is weird. Like, is this funny to you, Ryan? Because it wouldn't be in real life, would it?
Yeah, I didn't particularly think.
I thought that was really.
So well.
I didn't. I saw some people said they liked it. I just thought it was badly judged as like. I think it's
David
because
had said it would have worked.
No, I think it's because the show. It feels like the show is going, ha ha, look at this, and it's like, no, you don't. You haven't earned this from me yet. You haven't earned being able to laugh at how weird this situation is because you made it up. Coronation Street, you made this up. You can't make a joke about how stupid and weird it is. You have to like own what you've done here and not make a joke about how weird it is.
Well, look, let's run through it all. See if anything else.
I'm really sorry
out.
that I don't like
No,
this.
it's okay. You know,
I know, but I feel bad because everyone worked really hard, and I know that I was one of the ones going, "Oh, wouldn't it be cool? I would really love it. This is why you don't give me what I want. Don't listen to me. I've said this before. You can't listen to the fans because we don't know what we want.
I don't think they did it because the fans wanted it, because an awful lot of fans didn't want it, and I think there's probably a lot of listeners that are cheering you on as you're saying this, because. I don't know. We need to do a poll of like, is this storyline good or is this awful? But I feel that the Swaller fans might pick it up and it's just going to go awful. But
because the Swaller fans, I think a lot of them don't like this because it's breaking up Carla and Lisa,
but
and then a lot of the it won't, and a lot of the like casual fans who honestly I think online a lot of casual fans are kind of getting annoyed at Swaller because of how front and centre it is, and it feels like there's nothing else going on. And so they're like, I don't want this story because I don't want any more Swaller. Okay, but I do really like Carla and Lisa, and you're not going to get them in the show unless there's conflict. It just doesn't happen. It's not going to be 10 weeks of them making tea and kissing each other and having pasta
and baths.
No, that's not going to happen ever. And then who wants this story? Who really like? And I'm thinking, but I'm thinking to myself, what did I actually want to happen?
I think what we wanted was the big revelation when she pops out and says, "Surprise, it's me," and then
it just feels like they haven't accounted for anything. It just feels like they've just gone, whatever. It's just a soap. I'm really worried they don't know what the hell has gone on because they're not filling in a lot of blanks, and I think that they think. I think they think they have, but they really haven't. And it's one of those things that they do on Corrie with medical and police stories, because this is a police story. They just go, look, it's not a police or medical show, so what do you want us to do? Not do them.
I think there is still some big question marks over Costello's involvement in this at the moment. There's definitely questions that need answering regarding Matty and Logan's involvement.
One of my biggest questions.
There's no way they're not going to delve into it further. We just have to be patient.
No, I won't be. One of my biggest questions is, what does she think she's doing? Like, and not in like, what do you think you're doing? But like, Are you undercover still? Are you secret? Or are you just walking around blatantly like you are doing? Because you're walking around, you haven't covered your face up, you're not under disguise, unless you normally look like, I don't know,
the princess. Chopped her hair off, hasn't she?
Unless you normally look like the Princess of Wales and you wearing a ball gown everywhere, and now you're wearing a dowdy coat so no one would ever suspect it's you. Like, you're just wandering around with your normal face, going in and out of houses. Are you undercover or are you not?
I don't think she is, and I don't think I don't think you would think people would
she's
recognise
not acting
her
like,
anyway.
Yeah, but the people that know her will.
But
so Costello's like, oh my god, keep it on the down low.
I suppose that the amount of crime that goes on in that precinct, that's not the best place to be lurking around.
But is she trying to hide herself or not? Because she committed a crime when she covered up a death of a person. There is nothing in this country that means as a police officer you're allowed to commit crimes.
This is true. I think covering up the real Theo Wardley's death is probably. I'm sure there's a
certain amount of like leeway if you're going undercover like drugs and stuff, and if you're a police officer, I'm sure you have to take drugs if you're doing a drug thing. They're not going to be like, no, I already had some before I came out, but thank you, I'm full. Like, I'm sure they do that, and they don't get in trouble. But I don't think there is a law against taking drugs, is there?
I don't know.
It just raises so many questions. Like, you can't just bollock around murdering women and buggering off to Spain and then come back and go like, oh, what's your problem?
I think that Becky's
just a police officer.
What she wanted is to let Lisa know that she was alive and all right, because she's been thinking about this and probably obsessing over this moment for the past 4 years, and B, she wanted to connect with Betsy, and maybe her plans didn't go that much further than that. And as a mother, you're going to be focused on, I need to see my daughter, I need to give her a hug, I need to stroke her hair, I need to take her to Euro Disney. And so maybe we'll get to see now what she is going to do next, and surely it can't be too long before we have this scene between Becky and Costello. That's going to be where the real truth comes out, I suppose.
Yeah, we need to see that scene.
Maybe it might even be this Friday, exactly.
I just think I don't believe a lot of what she says, and maybe that this week is a necessary evil that has to set up certain things. But at the moment, I'm like not feeling it at all.
Well, look, let's run down what happened.
But what happened?
But what happened exactly? Well, we've already told you what happened. We're going to run down by it in painstaking detail, as we all want to do.
Love this.
And it starts off with Monday being Costello being incredibly angry on the phone call, and he's going, "Oh, do you want us to get caught?"
So is he talking to Becky here?
I think he must be, but
Caught about
I think
what?
but you know, this covering up of Tia Wardley's death.
But she obviously doesn't care because she's walking around.
Well, yeah, this
disguise.
is why he's mad about her. And she's flagrantly, walking around with no surprise, and he's like, "Keep your head down, Becky. You're supposed to be dead."
Wearing a dowdy coat is not a disguise, Becky.
Anyway,
Can I just say, I want to burn that coat more than anything. I hate her outfits so far. I really hate them.
I think I really love the look of the character. It's not often that we're kind of so diametrically opposed about a story, is it? And you're better at explaining yourself than me, and I just go, "Oh, it's good, isn't it?" And
you can be articulate when you want to be. You just need to think about it. What is it you like about? Is it just the mystery? Do you think she's mysterious?
I'm interested in the mystery. I have got a lot of sympathy for Becky. She seems like, I'm a mega gullible person. I'll believe and trust anyone at a drop of a hat. Scammers don't listen to this. I do always think the best of people. No, if there's any scammers listening, I've just given away that I'm easily scammable. But
I did have to stop you falling for a scam the other day, didn't I?
Did you?
Yeah.
What was that?
The one where you were like, "Oh, they said there's a parcel that I need to pay for." I'm like, "If you're expecting a parcel, no."
Okay, anyway, so Costello's mad. I think it's Becky. I don't remember. We may find out later it's not, but as far as I remember right now, it's her. So at number 6, you got Lisa, still incredibly shaken up by the massive bombshell from last week, but she's refusing to take the day off work because she needs to talk to her boss. She needs to know what on earth has happened here.
Like, can I just say, right, that this is like an example of how sometimes the characters don't act like human beings, and this is not I don't want Swanner fans to get mad at me. I'm not criticising the characters. I'm criticising the way that this, and I'm not criticising the script writers because it's not always their ideas. They have to write the script of what the storyline is. But like, who goes, "Oh, I'll just wait for my shift to start to ask my boss why my wife is not dead"? Well, I would go in. I would go, when is he in? I'm in there. I don't care whether I'm supposed to be at work or not. I'm going into his office and asking him. And then I'm taking the rest of the day off.
Time is a very fluid thing in Weatherfield. I mean, Monday and Friday's episodes last week were all set on the same day. So who knows when we are. My point is,
you don't need to go to work to ask your boss why your wife isn't dead.
Well,
why is she acting like she has to clock in somewhere?
You are picking on this.
I am really picking on it because it really doesn't feel like human beings are doing any of this. It's like a robot is writing a script, and that's not true. I don't understand how this has become so divorced of like human nature. You really would wait for your shift to start to go and ask your boss why the hell he arranged for somebody to be killed so that your wife could go and live in Spain and for 4 years and not tell you and your daughter. Would you really wait for your shift, or would you just go in, or would you just I just swore. Would you just?
No, it was the first 2 syllables.
I do swear a lot in real life. Would you not just phone the man, or go to his goddamn house and bash the door in and go, "Sorry, Mrs. Costello, whoever you are, I need to speak to your weirdo husband who's arranged for my wife to be murdered." Wouldn't you just be marching around there?
Lisa plays by the rules.
No, she doesn't. Nobody is this robotic. It's so strange.
Look, we're only on to the second scene so far.
I have to go in when my shift starts. What do you mean? No. Go and talk to him.
Right, look. She wants to speak to him, but she kind of says right from the beginning of this, I suppose it's a holdover from last week, that she doesn't want Betsy to find out about this at all. And I think it was a valiant effort, but it was never going to work, was it? And actually, I'm falling on the side that I think that's really quite cruel to try and keep her from her daughter.
It felt like manufactured conflict to me, because it doesn't make a lot of sense
If Betsy had found out, I mean, Betsy did find out, and she was mad at Lisa for a little bit,
Yep.
but that was only because she kept it secret for half an episode. If this had gone on for weeks and months, and then Becky had popped up again in the precinct, but yeah, that would have been awful. So I was again.
She says she wants to
Becky's
find
side
out the
there.
truth about what's going on, and she doesn't believe Becky, and that's why she doesn't want Betsy to see her.
Yeah, but she still needs to know her mum's dead. I mean, alive, not dead.
She'll be
Always
dead.
get those two confused.
When do you think
That's
she'll be
probably
dead
what they said
again?
down the station.
I think Becky will be dead
So
by Easter.
Easter is not a bad shout. Lisa goes to work and she asks about the hit and run at first, and it's Kit she's talking to and saying that. You find anything more, because he doesn't believe that Brody had anything to do with it. I suppose that's in the other story.
His son.
Yeah, they're talking there about the hit and run when Costello comes in and Lisa kind of corners him and like, guess who I bumped into yesterday?
Yeah.
What?
No, I was just going to say she doesn't talk about this in front of Kit.
So he's not surprised, because he must have been talking to Becky on the phone earlier. He's like, came into work knowing that this was going to happen today.
Yeah, because he's like, Bex, when you come back, can you please bring me some chorizo and one of them giant hats?
I think the line of "guess who I bumped into yesterday" being a bit of a tease was, again, probably not as serious as you might actually say it. You might.
I don't think I would.
I need to speak to you in your office right now, sir.
Yeah, I know that Lisa's like very cool compared to me. I'm definitely a loudmouth. But I wouldn't be able to help myself but scream like, what the hell has been happening? What do you think you're playing at? Here's some chorizo that Becky gave me for you.
Lisa's behaviour around Costello is enough to get Kit's cogs turning in his brain, and he goes over to the factory to speak to Carla. It's like, is Lisa okay? She was acting a bit weird this morning. And has something come out about Becky? Carla won't
would he
talk.
say that?
Well, yeah, I know. The fact that everybody is talking and thinking about Becky just at the very week when she happens to pop out of the woodwork is a little bit of a...
Do you think that Kit knew? Because when...
No.
At a certain point, he gets told, doesn't he?
Yeah, Carla.
And he doesn't
Carla
go...
tells him. She tells him right at this very scene. She says, Becky's not dead. She's come back.
And he's like, oh.
Yeah, no, he didn't know. He didn't know.
No, I know,
so he's
but
not
he just went... He went, oh. He didn't say oh, but he was like, oh, that's interesting. And then he starts thinking like, okay. Like, what do you mean? She's not dead.
Well, he says, well, it makes you wonder what else Costello could do. So he's
it wouldn't. It would make me wonder what the hell's going on, that somebody was dead for 4 years.
He suspected that there's something incredibly dodgy going on with Costello for a long time.
A human being would go, no, what? Huh? What? Well, the way they're all acting, it's like this happens all the time. Oh, okay, she's not dead, yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
I'm not gonna disagree with you.
It just feels like there's a massive missing, like... It's like they all know they're in a soap. And that shouldn't be how it feels. It's like they're all like, yeah, I did read on the front of Soap Mag that she was not dead.
Well, look.
I was looking on Reddit and they said that she wasn't dead.
I think I get the idea. That you're displeased with this. But I don't know whether too much overreaction would have just ended up saying, well, come on, is everyone going to overreact to a realistic degree?
Because they definitely did have, I can't remember what storyline it was, but everybody reacted to something and it got really tedious and boring because you're like, yeah, we all know this. You need to move on because the audience is over it now. We can't have everybody find out individually.
Anyway,
there must be a middle ground.
Lisa goes into Costello's office.
All right then, I won't say anything else for the rest of the story.
No, you can.
No, you're just saying that I'm just going on, so I won't.
No, it's fine. Lisa goes to Costello's office and locks the door, and then I think a lot of people got an idea she was going to do a bit of a Sarah Louise on him and so start to proposition him, but she's not in the mood for that. She wants to know what's going on. If I don't get every detail, she says, I'm going to blow the whistle on you and call the press. I kind of think that she should maybe do that anyway, don't you? Like, would you... I suppose, again, she's being restrained, right? Mm-hmm. Yep. No, you're allowed to talk.
No, go on.
Do you think that this is going to blow up? Is it going to come out? Is it going to... It's got to end in... It's got to be a career-ending story for Costello, hasn't it?
This is what I was saying. What is her plan?
Maybe this is her opportunity to become Inspector herself. I don't
No,
know.
what is Becky's plan? What does she genuinely think is going to happen? It doesn't make any sense. But I'm not allowed
We'll find out. No, you are allowed to. Right, okay, look. So, Costello says an op went bad. This was talking about her undercover work with Curtis, I guess.
Yeah.
And we had to deal with it. And she says, well, why on earth did you take such a big risk to after doing this? And he's like, look, I look after my coppers, and it was cleaner for her to die. So very emotionless from Costello here, but do you get the idea that he's panicking? I suppose that phone call earlier is, he's not he doesn't wear his heart on his sleeve, does he? But he must be thinking that, he's desperately thinking of how on earth am I going to get out of this?
Yeah, I think so.
But he says, look, he's fairly emotionless, and I suppose that fits in with the fact that we used Tia's body. There's no mystery here. What Becky's saying is what happened, and she died and you grieved. She went over there, she grieved. It's exactly the same thing. Becky lost a wife and a daughter too, don't forget that. And she's like, don't you let your ego blind you to the level of... No, sorry, he says, don't let your ego blind you to the level of sacrifice she made. If that's not true love, then I don't know what is.
That's not true.
Interesting way of looking at it, but desperately, because he's trying to cover for something. That's, I suppose, the best that he can pull out. So
there's no way... I know I'm not allowed to talk, but there's
That's
no way that the get out of jail free card for every single undercover cop is fake your death and go to Spain. That can't be the contingency plan.
Curtis was really, really bad man.
For every undercover operation, right? You must have to do some kind of health and safety, like what could be the worst outcome? Well, how do you mitigate it? Oh, fake your death and go to Spain.
What's your plan C?
Are you kidding me? It doesn't make sense.
Well, Lisa's not satisfied particularly by this, and she tells Carla later, that Costello basically backed up Becky's plan, but she still doesn't really know whether or not to believe him, and she's mega stressed out. She's like, how on earth? I've been working at this station for all these years with him. How could I have not seen? How could I have not seen all the clues here?
Like she was still on the rota for paying for milk.
Yeah, still on the Secret Santa list.
She's come back because it's nearly Christmas. And
she says, look, they're basically talking about Becky, and then Becky walks in the room and says, yep, you're right, I am telling the truth. This has kind of got some people's goats online this week, hasn't it? Becky's just, I'm going to walk into the house here.
Yeah. You can walk into lots of houses.
Right at the moment where people are talking about me, so I can make some witty quip that backs up what you were saying.
Maybe she's listening at the door.
She needs to talk. Oh, now's the time. She says, I did the right thing when I went to Spain. I did it for love, and now we need to decide how on earth we're going to tell everybody this. And Carla takes this opportunity to say, well, to be honest, Kit already knows, which I don't think Lisa's particularly pleased with.
It doesn't matter if it doesn't matter. What about the legal aspect of this? It doesn't matter what you tell your friends. As far as we can tell, Becky didn't have any.
Well, yeah, we're still kind of in the dark here about whether Becky had literally any other family or, just for friends.
Do they not have any couple friends?
Yeah.
Can you imagine how weird it'd be like, oh, sorry, we've got to cancel game night because Becky's dead. And then 4 years later, oh, do you still have that Catan? Because we can get back to it now. Did you save the game?
So they're saying we need to sort this out. We need and again that makes sense to me. Becky says, "Yep, you've had your shock. Let's be practical about this now. What are we going to do? How are we going to tell everybody?" And Lisa's like, I haven't got the time for this now. You need to sling your hook. So Becky leaves them her number and then leaves.
No.
End of the episode, Carla and Lisa are left alone in the house, and Carla seems to be sympathising with Becky here, like me, and saying, look, she couldn't have had much choice. She couldn't have had much time. This must have been a snap decision and one that you can't go back on. Don't make any rash choices now, Lisa, because you could end up regretting it. And Lisa says, Carla, just make sure you don't tell anyone else about Becky. Don't tell anyone. Don't tell Betsy. Don't tell anyone. I'm going to figure out this for myself. But by the end of Wednesday's episode, that's all gone a bit tits up because Ryan and Becky have found out about it.
Bexy, yes. I think that Carla is basically saying to Lisa,
Banksy.
Could be that was who
Becky is Banksy. It's her secret identity.
Yeah. Anyway, it could be that I think Carla's just saying to Lisa, like, can you please work out, like, don't rush into it, but I need to know one way or the other if this is still happening, like me and you.
Yeah.
Because, like, we do have a mortgage.
Yeah.
This is, like, the worst time. Right at the beginning
Someone's
of your
going to come back from
mortgage.
the day. Yeah. How many? Are you in a 5-year
2,
fixed
3
term
or
or something?
5?
Yeah.
That's the big question. How committed were they when they went in together? And what is the interest rate?
Lisa's not really given any impression here that Carla's got anything to worry about the state of their relationship. Yeah,
but
there
she's
was
not
the scene at the
reassuring
factory.
her. She's not reassuring her, and Carla kind of needs it. Like I think she's taken her a little bit for granted here because she hasn't said a word. She just assumes that Carla knows that she's gonna want to be with her. But I think Carla's right to say, take your time and decide properly. Because at the moment, you really don't know what you think.
You get the early morning scene on Wednesday's episode. That's another kind of Lisa and Carla moment. Lisa just can't sleep. Carla comes down. She doesn't really know what to say to comfort her at that point. So Lisa sends her back off to bed.
See, they're not talking.
Yeah, you're right. Betsy comes down the next, later on in the episode. It's the morning. She's still kind of thinking about this accident and the fact there was no CCTV of it, and she's completely freaked out about not knowing who did it. Carla says, "Look, Lisa, you really should tell Betsy about your mum," but Lisa is still incredibly resistant about that. Betsy's in the cafe with Dylan later, still missing her dead mum. I didn't particularly like how Betsy, what is it she's saying? Oh, but I think that it's like my mum's watching over me and sending me messages, and yeah, it was all a little bit. You don't need to mention it. A bit too much of a coincidence.
We didn't need that scene to let us know that she was sad her mum's dead.
No, it wouldn't have made the surprise any different had she not been saying that. It was just a bit. Oh, it just makes you go, oh, what are the chances of that? Which isn't really appropriate for this kind of story, I would say.
Betsy's like going, oh, my mum got me this great necklace, which was my dead mum's necklace. I hope she doesn't come back from the dead to ask for it, because I was hoping my mum would get me one of those 2-ring necklaces that one of you has one and the other one has another one, because she had a tab open on her laptop where she was looking at them, and somehow she hasn't given me it, which is weird.
Carla brings Becky round to see Lisa and says, look, just talk about Betsy, what are you going to do about it? Lisa's like, no. And then Carla locks them in. This seems to be people's reaction to everything at the moment, doesn't it? Gonna thrash this out, lock them in, sort yourselves out. And Becky says, come on, I just want to see my daughter. I didn't have any choice about leaving. I want to be able to explain myself to Betsy. I've got the right to do this. And Lisa's like, nope. So she's just totally in denial that this is clearly going to come out, isn't she? She's not ready to process this. And so Becky kind of takes it on herself to go and do a bit of lurking of her own around the precinct, where Betsy's having a lovely swing, until Ryan pops up looking like a bit of a proper hoodie.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I thought you wanted to say something.
I did want to say something.
What?
Well, I just wanted to say that Lisa, it would make sense if Lisa had a plan for what she wanted to happen with Betsy and Becky, but she doesn't. She just doesn't want her to see her at all.
No.
Like, if it would... I feel like she would be a more sympathetic character if she had gone, I need to talk to somebody to find out the best way of doing this. But she's not. She's just refusing. And so it makes her difficult. It's weird because I don't sympathise with Becky either, but it feels like Lisa's being deliberately obstinate because she's trying to take out her anger on Becky, which is not a great look. And I don't mind Lisa being a complicated character, because I really like that about her. I think she's a very interesting person, and she does make choices that aren't always like crowd pleasers, which is great. But in this situation, it feels like she's being unreasonable. Yeah,
I thought so. But so Becky is watching Betsy at the precinct, and this is when Ryan jumps out at her for fun, and because he's such a larker, isn't he? And then Becky's worried that Curtis's lot are still on the prowl, and that Ryan is one of their henchmen who's there to attack Becky.
Why?
It's
how? Why?
It does make you wonder, like, why wouldn't this have happened in the meantime? Were you worried about that before? I don't know. But anyway, it all very quickly turns into Becky saying, "It's me," and revealing herself to her somewhat stunned daughter. We didn't... I think that Lisa's reaction on Friday I preferred. Betsy's like proper in shock and she doesn't know what to do, and Becky's saying, "It's real, I'm really here." But she didn't really give her much chance to... Because she says, "Yeah, I'm alive. Anyway, I'm off." Didn't she? Like, just leaving this surprise with you. But yeah, I'm alive, and make of that what you will. So Betsy's trying to make sense of it, but obviously she can't.
Make of that what you will.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah, it's basically that, isn't it? She's like, "Hang on, I went to my mum's funeral. What am I going to say to my mum? What am I going to say to Lisa?" Because she doesn't realise that Lisa doesn't know.
That really broke my heart when she took that burden on her. Like, how am I going to break this to my mum? And I feel like Lisa's just gone, "I'm not doing it." Like, because she had that responsibility as well. And she's just gone, "I'm not doing it." And it feels almost a little bit like Betsy's being more mature, but maybe it's because she doesn't have all of the extra burdens of practicality that Lisa's got in her head of like,
yeah, I think
this is a lot more than just your mum's not dead.
As the mother, Lisa has got the responsibility, I guess, to protect her daughter from what she thinks.
Yeah, that's true.
Whereas Betsy doesn't have that.
Yeah, Betsy doesn't need to worry about anything except telling her mum that... I just thought it was so cute and sweet and sad that one of her first thoughts was, "What the hell is mum going to say?"
Yeah, very mature.
And she was like, "I've got to tell her myself," because Ryan's saying, "I'll tell her." And she says, no, it has to come from me. I was like, "Oh, you're being so brave."
Well, she doesn't, when she actually tells her, she pretty much just comes out and says it, doesn't she? There's no massive speech there. She's just like, "Mum's not dead.
I've just
seen her. She's alive. I'm not making it up."
Oh, bless her.
And then this is when Lisa obviously she's blindsided by this, and her reaction to it has stunned silence. Well, not stunned silence. I'm not ready for this yet. That kind of says it all. And Betsy's like, "You knew." And she's pretty mad at her mum for keeping it from her. But then Becky, once again, swans in through the front door and tries to explain. And once again, Lisa yells at her to get out. And Betsy, poor thing, is completely overwhelmed by all of this. Tells everybody that they're liars. I did feel a bit bad for Lisa here, because she didn't have a whole lot of opportunity to tell her daughter, did she?
No, but this is great conflict, because everybody is acting... This made sense to me. This scene... Everybody was acting like a normal human being. But what led up to it really was inexplicable.
Well, Becky starts to sort of putting the idea out there at this point that maybe this is Curtis's lot going after Betsy. That's why she protected her, or she thought she was protecting her in the precinct. And I just want to make sure that everybody's safe here. And Carla says, "Well, we're not safe, actually. Thank you very much. Not while you're here." So that was quite nice of Carla siding with Lisa, when previously she'd gone to Becky to bring these two together, because she know that they need to talk this out. Lisa can't just put her fingers in her ears and go la 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 and hope Becky goes away. But Carla saying this to Becky was a way of kind of reaffirming, "I am on your side, Lisa. And I'm not going to take any rubbish from Becky."
Do you think they all really think that they're in danger?
I don't know. I guess so.
I just think this is all crap.
I mean,
it's a load of crap.
I've still got to see a little bit more until Curtis compares to the great Harvey.
And Callum.
Harvey was the worst, because the looming shadow of gangster Harvey has been hanging over the Platts, or was hanging over the Platts for 12 months or so, and I'm not ready for that again. I don't need that.
Are you not just fed up with these like bogeymen that get made out of nothing? Oh, he's always been the worst gangster.
We've not seen any evidence that Curtis or his gangsters or his criminal enterprise even exists anymore. No. At the moment, it's all in Becky's head.
But I know they didn't know this was going to happen 4 years ago. But couldn't they have tied him in somehow to the gangs we actually know about? It just feels like, he's always been the worst one.
Well, maybe it's a bit of a head vampire syndrome here, and now that Curtis has been shot, everything has just gone back to normal.
That's not what they're saying. They're all going,
I know. Out. They're worried about it, but you've got to be careful about that, because we need to see what Curtis and his men can do, and then because we've seen so much gangstery stuff in Corrie recently, what can he do that's going to make us think, flipping it, this is serious?
But you haven't seen a peep out of him.
Because he wasn't going to do take them hostage. Like, well, we've seen that.
It's so weird.
Taken hostage by Rob Donovan earlier this year. Actually,
they must have known as far back as they've cast Carl that they were going to do this.
Yeah.
Why couldn't he have been involved with Fiona?
Maybe he is.
But why not bring it up? Why was the first time we heard of Curtis? And I tell you, this annoys me as well because she said, oh yeah, 2 weeks ago Curtis got shot. They could have put something in the show about Curtis being shot 2 weeks ago.
When we were on our train to London the other day, Gemma had a couple of episodes of Coronation Street downloaded. And you were how many did you have?
I had 3 weeks worth.
And you were combing through trying to see if there are any pictures on the Weatherfield Gazette. It's just kind of giving clues about this guy being shot.
I'm not bitter at all. But I'm just saying, you knew, Coronation Street, you knew that you were going to tell us that Curtis was a big deal and he got killed 2 weeks before. Why did you not put it anywhere? Why did you not have it anywhere at all? On the front of the Weatherfield Gazette, in the bloody precinct, in the police precinct that you insist on showing us every episode? Why was there not something on one of the whiteboards about it? We've got this clip about a drug teen overdose funeral that's been up there for about a month or two. Couldn't you have replaced it with something about Curtis? Or like have a map of like Curtis' gang and have him crossed out? You could have done this. You could have done this and you didn't.
You could have had the posters for the Let's Celebrate Curtis's Dead party.
Yeah,
they must have
bring your own cake because some people are gluten-free. Come on, seriously, shape up a bit here because you're asking us to believe that the completely unbelievable and you haven't done a tiny bit of shred of work in the background to prepare your story, and you knew that you were going to do this. You didn't just write it on the day. You've been planning this for like months. And yet the first time we heard about it was Lisa going, oh yeah, I heard a couple of weeks ago everyone was excited that Curtis died. Really? You couldn't have put 2 weeks. You couldn't have had a line where Lisa comes home and goes, and Carla goes, you're late. And Lisa goes, yeah, this big gangster got killed and everyone was having a party, so I had a drink or two. You couldn't have written that in. You couldn't. You really couldn't have done that. Are you kidding me?
I want someone to write in now and say, well, actually, Gemma, they did.
I know, because we know they didn't.
We know they didn't put anything on the headlines of the Gazette at least, anyway. And,
look, the Swallow fans are on it, okay? If there was anything, they would have found it.
This is true. We can trust them. Not long after this, we get the scene, because Betsy stormed upstairs, and then she comes down, and I was hoping that we would get the big hug, and we did, and she's like, Mum, I really missed you so much.
That's very sad.
It was really sweet and lovely, and despite all the lies and betrayal and secrets and everything, this girl wants to give her mum a hug, and I thought it was lovely. And they were curled up on the sofa later, and Becky's telling her that I just did what was right for you and your mum. I've missed you so much. And when Betsy says, like, you're not going to go away again, are you? Lisa, she says this is all she wants. So we've got now these two Swains that both want something very, very different for Becky. And
Becky's a Swain.
Oh yeah, I think that this is definitely going to cause a bit of a wedge between Lisa and Becky here, isn't it? Because Becky's going to say, "Oh, you're so unreasonable."
Lisa and Becky.
Betsy. Oh, their names are the same.
Lisa
and Betsy. Because Betsy's going to say, "You're not letting me see my mum. That's not fair. She's part of my life. I hate you." So there's
of course
clearly drama afoot there.
I thought it was really sad when Betsy was like, "Can she stay?"
Yeah.
Because when you're that age, you really, like, as adults, we're used to being away from our parents. But I remember how sad I was when I went to uni at the same age as Betsy and I had to go and leave my parents. I hated it. I was so sad. I missed them so much.
Well, luckily I came along a few days later.
But imagine, like, well, you know what it's like to lose your mum.
Yeah. This is totally natural.
This is super uncomfortable to like watch this, knowing that you've lost your mum and thinking about how you would feel if your mum was alive.
Yeah.
For me.
I wouldn't let anyone throw her out. I'd say, Mum, you staying here. Staying with me. But I think it was left in an interesting position for next week, considering what it's going to mean for the Lisa and Betsy dynamic. So, and also what Becky's going to do next. I don't know.
So Betsy spends a lot of time sleeping while people talk about very important plot points around her.
It was a nice way of framing it, because it did very much show her she's just a kid. She's young, she's innocent. It's like the sleeping baby. not really fully comprehending the magnitude of everything that's going on here and the drama and that it's going to cause. And I mean, as far as Betsy's concerned, I suppose at the end of this, everything's going to be okay now. But I don't think it's as simple as that.
Is she going to start resenting Carla? Because if in her
mind,
maybe, if Carla wasn't there, her mum would be back together.
Yeah, and we've only just had a couple of breakthroughs with those two, haven't we? We had the lovely hug on the sofa scene the other week with Betsy and Carla.
Is Betsy going to feel guilty that she gave Carla the nod, literally, to marry her mum?
Yeah. It all depends on how much Becky is going to try and wheedle her way back into Lisa's life. Because she said, I totally get that you moved on.
But I would never say that. I don't understand. If I had done it for love and gone and lived in another country to save the life of my wife and child, when I came back I'd be like, yeah, can I have some bloody applause please? Can we all get back together again?
Yeah.
Can we not be back to how it was? It wasn't my fault.
Yeah. Whatever. That was basically what happened to that story this week. I grew to love it again. I've said everything I've got to say really on this. Do you want to move on to the Tyrone stuff and all his dramas with Carl and Brody and Evelyn and co?
No, I don't. I find it very boring.
Well, you've got to do it. It's your turn.
I think I was like this last week as well. Like, this story, man.
Everything, every single thing about Carl and the car thefts is utterly dull to me.
Wouldn't
it's just
be
not sparking anything.
Super shocked if Fiona didn't end up having a link to Curtis's gang. But I just don't know why they would hide the link, because it makes it more credible that Curtis was seriously a real gangster that really existed.
I don't think they're related. I know the stories have intertwined a little bit because it was Carl that was driving the car.
But do you see what I mean? It gives it credibility that you're like, Curtis really was a real character. They didn't just make up a name out of nothing when they had to. Why do they keep painting themselves into corners when they obviously plan this out? Do they think we can't handle too much information or something?
Yes. Go on, let's go through this. What's been going on with poor old Ty this week?
Right. He's out cold in the hospital. And everybody's worried, and because he's got surgery, and Evelyn is like nagging at Kit, and he's in the cafe like, why don't you know who ran over Tyrone? Was it Dylan? If it was, then Brody must be involved.
Yeah, last week ended, or near enough ended, with Dylan being arrested, didn't it? And he was there protesting his innocence, and I didn't even consider the fact that it wasn't those boys.
I know, me too. But the thing is, and I love it when loads of things happen at once. I think that's what made the tram crash one of the greatest episodes of Coronation Street of all time. But the thing is, all the storylines converged and it made sense. But they try it's kind of like a mini version of that here. But it just too many things are happening, and I don't know why I can accept it for the tram crash, but not for this series of episodes, because they are kind of linked. And they are really, there's a lot of high stakes there, but I just don't care. Sorry.
I think with this, there's some of it here is the characters
I just can't be that bothered about everything. I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm really in a bad mood about this. So he's like, no, he wasn't involved. And then Brody comes in and Kit's like, are you sure? And Brody's like, actually, I was having a seizure and Dylan was with me and we went to the hospital. And nobody believes... No, we don't believe them. Evelyn doesn't believe them.
Yeah. But then I also thought that's quite a big lie to tell, because surely there would be evidence
they're gonna get
about
caught
whether
out.
you'd had this. Yeah,
so that's what I was thinking.
I was starting to think, was it? Who
I
could
was
it
like,
be then?
whatever. Evelyn's like, no way, I don't believe you. So Sean then goes to the Undertakers and complains to George because he dobbed Dylan in, and the police are going to interview him again. He's like, you're going to send him back to the STC, what's going to happen? And then Carl asks about what the confrontation with George was like to Brody, and Brody's like, well, he thinks I was in the hit and run, but I wasn't. I don't know what happened, but it wasn't me. And Carl's like, well, this makes it very difficult, doesn't it? Now looking back on it, what a dick.
Yeah.
And Brady's like,
Yeah,
well,
that's
look,
right, actually.
I left the car somewhere and the keys were in the ignition, but I didn't drive it anywhere. I didn't run anybody over. And Carl's like, well, I don't believe you, but whoever hit Tyrone, that must be the person who stole the car. So then they interview Dylan again at the police station, and he's saying, no, me and Brody were at the hospital and he had a seizure, so I helped him out. And Jess, who is, cop on the beat, she says... no,
she gets called out, doesn't she, at this
moment? Yeah, she gets taken out. And then Sean's like, are you sure? Are you sure? Did Brody tell you to do this? Did you run Tyrone over? And he's like, no, I didn't, but thanks for believing in me, Dad.
I feel bad for Dylan here, but I'm not surprised that Sean has gone down this route after the whole knife crime thing.
The whole knife thing, Dylan. Jess comes back and says, yeah, we looked at the CCTV from the hospital. Probably should have done that before the interview. And it says that you were actually there. You're in the clear.
What a waste of time.
Police time wasted. You should have to pay for that. Tyrone wakes up in the hospital and something is not right, and he tells Fizz to call the doctor because he cannot feel his legs.
Was a bit of a cliche
they are there.
Scene, that,
they are there. So Carl is with Abby at the garage, and she has a go at him because he's not actually doing any work. Who cares about that? Dylan and Brody.
Seriously, the Carl and Abby thing. Oh my god.
Dylan and Brody are talking about stealing another car, and he says, I'm not doing it again. And Brody's like, no, we're doing it. I've got to raise money for my sisters.
Yeah, he's honourably stealing
Shoney
cars,
and
isn't he?
Groney
We haven't seen them. We haven't even seen them for a few
separated,
weeks.
And that was a big deal for 5 minutes, and now nobody cares. Where is she? Who's her aunt? Don't know. Could be old Sharon, but she's not been on the show. Carl drags Brody and Dylan into the ginnel and gives them a good old rollicking about failing their mission and tells them to do better next time. Maybe they should play Grand Theft Auto in preparation.
I just think maybe he needs to get himself some better lackeys.
Stop hiring.
Dylan's clearly a bit of the loose thread here, isn't he?
Has he tried asking for people on Indeed? Or maybe on what's that one? That's LinkedIn. LinkedIn's where to get people, isn't it?
Yeah.
Maybe, stealing cars my passion and things like that. I live and breathe stealing cars. Yeah. So he's like, do better next time. Then we get even in with Roy.
I think if he wasn't so desperate to get this money, he would probably not be trying to,
you can't get the people, can you?
Useless.
You just can't get the help.
I thought that, because Tracy comes in at the end of the episode, doesn't she, and says, by the way, I want that money tomorrow. That did feel a little bit like, oh yeah, that has been put to one side.
Honestly, why does Carl care? Because he doesn't want to be with Abby, and he doesn't particularly seem to like his brother or care about him. He's not really got a job there, working at the garage. Why doesn't he just tell Tracy to get bent? Does he really care if it gets exposed that he had an affair? It's only Abby that cares.
Or maybe he wants to... Well, he doesn't want to end things with Abby, does he? He just doesn't seem to want to go to Germany with her. But I don't think he wants to destroy everything with Kev.
Is it that important that you're gonna... It doesn't make
I
sense.
think he probably thinks that he can end this relationship before it gets too serious, whilst still retaining his relationship with his brother.
But to the point that he's gonna give her so much money.
Well, I don't know.
No, it doesn't make sense. Evelyn is with Roy in the cafe, and she's just trying to find out who hit Tyrone, and she can't trust the police to do their job. And Roy's telling her that she's kind of distracting herself and thinking that she can solve this crime as a distraction.
Herself from Tyrone as
a coping strategy. And she's like, no, we need to do something. So she turns up at the hospital to visit him and learns that he can't feel his legs. And Fizz is very much struggling with this, and she sends Evelyn and Cassie off with the kids, I think. Kit comes into the garage and he asks Carl where he was when Tyrone was run over.
Oh yeah, Kit's doing an awful lot of loitering and tracking of Carl, isn't he, these last few days?
And I tell you what, if being a police officer was just being nosy, I'd be great at it. So he's like, tell me what's going on. Then Abby jumps to his defence and says that he was on a call out, and so Kit leaves, kind of happy with that.
Yeah.
The doctor comes to speak to Fizz and Tyrone and says there is a small blood. Oh my god! How often in the last 3 years have we heard a doctor give a lecture to somebody about what their prognosis is? It's such a familiar scene now. Like, the doctor comes in and goes, "Hello, there's a very serious chance that you could have really bad complications from this, and it will be life-changing, but we won't talk about it for about a week after it all goes wrong." Are you okay with that? You do get a story out of it, but it's going to be annoying.
At least we didn't have any silly sound effects as Tyrone was being told that.
So the doctor says there's a blood clot pressing on the spinal cord. They've got to take it out, but there could be a risk, and we don't know what's going to happen in the future.
Oh,
but it might be some kind of Christmas story about kicking a football. Oh no, they say. Carl comes to visit Tyrone in the hospital himself, and he's trying to find out how he's doing, and he's saying, "Oh, I'm really sorry."
This is kind of the moment where it's like, oh, this is where the penny starts to drop, isn't it?
And,
Why
I'm
would
sorry.
he be there?
And Tyrone's like, "What have you got to be sorry for? It's not your fault. And I might never get the feeling back in my legs. What will I do? Who would ever do such a thing?" And then we have a flashback to Carl torching the car with his Zippo lighter.
Did the storyline really benefit from the fact that there was a flashback? I suppose it was a bit of a mystery for an episode. Well, not even a mystery.
Was like, oh,
yet another thing that Carl's done.
Oh, I'm sorry, I don't.
My opinion of Carl couldn't be any lower, I suppose.
It's
so
not like it was
doing
shocking.
this.
If it'd been Abby, that would have been like a massive shock, wouldn't it? Like,
oh
what?
Yeah, that would have been, wouldn't it?
Why?
Yeah,
that would have been a
like,
great
oh,
twist, because you'd been like,
Carl.
she's been forced to by love.
Yeah.
Just like Becky went to Spain for love.
So I wonder how soon it's going to be before Abby finds out that Carl was the one responsible here. Is he going to confide in her for some reason, and that's going to be the ultimate test about whether she wants to stand by him? Because she's always already kind of looked the other way about his dodgy MOT scams that he's doing, isn't he? But I don't think she could forgive him for crippling Tyrone.
I don't care. On Wednesday, Debbie bounces into the cafe to say, and we never got to see any of this.
We
this
didn't
was
get
such
to
a
see any
tease.
of this. I was very much looking forward to more Dementia Choir, and I felt quite let down.
Abby and Glenda are going to infiltrate the Dementia Choir and poach members, and Abby then tells Debbie about the fact that Tyrone's got an operation, and his life could change beyond recognition, and Chesney then is listening and says, "Oh, Fizz is really worried." And they say, "Oh, isn't it weird? There are so many cars that are being nicked." And then we get to see in the hospital, Tyrone is having everybody around him, and they're getting cards and saying they love him. And Cassie says to take care of him. And Evelyn is
she wants to get away, doesn't she? I think she doesn't like
it very awkward.
She doesn't like showing emotion.
No.
But doesn't she give him a kiss on the head or something?
Yeah, she goes off with all the girls, and then we cut to number 9 immediately.
Yes, that was weird. That was odd. There was them in the hospital, straight cut to them in the lounge, and that was completely and utterly jarring because Corrie never does that.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it was weird because you see them, and then the next scene they're somewhere else.
Yeah. With Doran banging manically on a drum.
Yeah.
Doran was on top form on Wednesday's episode, wasn't he? I thought the last time we saw him he was a little bit subdued, but they just let him run away with everything. He was like, "Oh, you're away." What was he saying? I can't remember some of the things he was saying. He was the one part he goes, "Oh, we're really disappointed." And he's like, "Are you being fed these lines? Are you making it up?" But yeah, he was off on one. And Evelyn was somewhat weary of him, wasn't he? And I think Hope's just kind of given up. She's just lying there on the sofa, and yeah, I loved him. Doran was brilliant. Highlight of the episode.
Carl gets called to the hotel by Fiona, and Kit comes to him. What's happening here?
Carl's in the hotel with Fiona, isn't he? She wants to say, Kit's... "What are you bloody doing? Can't you steal a car properly?"
And Kit's like,
Kit comes along because he thinks that Carl's up to something, so Fiona makes a hasty exit.
And he's like, "You know who that is, don't you?" And he's like, "Oh, no, don't really know who that is. Leave me alone. Stop harassing me." And Kit's like, "Well, I'm going to find out what you're up to." Then Brody...
I don't really get why Kit is so suspicious of Carl.
No.
I know he
hasn't got any reason.
Dodgy, but I'd probably got some, but the level of...
intense.
Yeah, scrutiny of this guy doesn't seem to match with
Maybe
the evidence
fancies
that he
Abby.
has.
Right, so Brody and Dylan are having arguments about doing crimes, and Betsy gets annoyed and leaves them. Abby tells Carl that she thinks that Tyrone's might have been hit by one of Fiona's dodgy cars. And he's like, no, don't worry about it. No way. I'm going to talk to Fiona about it, but don't worry about it.
He says that he's going to keep on... I thought he says he's going to keep on working for her, but he doesn't want to do anything too high risk. I don't know. Literally, anything to do with Carl and Fiona's little scams just leaves me utterly cold.
Fiona and Carl talk, and then Kit... This is when Kit comes over and says...
Oh, that's that bit.
She's dodgy. I don't know what the previous one was. And he's like, yeah, I know her, but I don't really. And I don't really know Brody and Dylan either, which is a great tactic.
Considering you're always hanging around them.
I don't know them. No, we don't do crimes together.
What does he say? Like, his excuse for hanging around them is that they drop litter, I think he says later. I mean, they are very environmentally conscious over in Germany, in his homeland, aren't they?
He's like, I thought you could get money for glass bottles, and I am really annoyed that you can't. So I was following children around, because they're obviously like Panda Pops. Right, at the hospital, Tyrone has had his operation, and it went well, but it could take years before his legs work again. And Tyrone's like, oh, years? That's ages. And Cassie's like, don't worry about it. And he says, but I do. Then we get to hear from Debbie that she couldn't poach anybody from the choir, but she might try them again tomorrow when they've forgotten, which was hilarious.
Was the best line.
That was honestly the highlight of the whole week.
Yeah. It's so funny how kind of they're making fun of it, which is bad.
It's like Shelley with the MND, where it lightens the mood of a very serious subject.
But, I mean, it's good because, like with the MND, and you probably did have people, you could have people that have got MND that will, make fun of it in a way. If there's probably are people with dementia who are like, oh, what am I like forgetting things again? And they make, take advantage of it. It's not, you don't get dementia and suddenly you're just super serious about it. So I appreciated it. A bit like Kevin when he got his cancer earlier this year, then he was making, the lads were making fun of his balls. Yeah, I think it's brilliant, but I'm sad that we didn't actually get to see those scenes.
I don't know what they could have been like. I also think it's hilarious that Debbie and Glenda think that they're in any way equipped to deal with the challenges of people with dementia.
Yeah.
And also that they think they'd be any good at singing.
Well, yeah, we haven't seen evidence yet that they are, have we? I can't remember why she said she even wants to have a dementia choir and not just a choir.
No, I know. It's because who was it? Christina told her that she'd be the most glamorous person in the choir, but you could just get a bunch of ugly people, couldn't you?
Debbie and the Uglies. That's what the band name is.
Is there not a support group for ugly people? Why not? Anyway, I'll join it.
Can't sing. I mean, you're not okay.
Yeah, that's true. Would people kind of go expecting them to be like, like Susan Boyle? Everyone was like, wow, she can sing so well, but she's unattractive.
Yeah.
This is incredible. Like, would people go to this ugly choir expecting you to make up with it with your talent and like be super disappointed and come home and go, not only were they ugly, but they also cannot sing? Because I'd be perfect if that was the entry. Anyway, Carl meets Abby in the pub and tells her what happened with Fiona and that they've kind of broken it off, and Abby's happy about it. Then we get
more
Dylan.
Hospital scenes.
Well, I'm going to say Dylan and Brody trying to persuade... Brody's trying to persuade Dylan to join his evil gang again, and he refuses. Then we get Tyrone with all his family, and then for some reason, is it Ruby says, we've signed you up for a dad and daughter football day, and he says, oh, that's great, and they all just play along with this idea that he's going to do this dad and daughter footy day.
Yeah, they haven't revealed to the girls yet quite how serious
it's
this
in a few months' time, which means it will be in December. Which means it's going to be a heartwarming story about him being able to play football again. Yeah,
whereas with Paul, it was walking down the aisle, wasn't it?
And we all know
it's going to be kicking a ball.
That Tyrone's passion is playing football.
He loves football. He never stops talking about it.
And it's also, we all know that it is Ruby who is the footballer. on the street, not Lily, so Lily can get a Ben.
At least if there's this father-daughter football day and David and Lily aren't involved, then come on.
I really super want David to be there, just not being involved at all. And Tyrone's trying his hardest, even though he's been paralysed for months. And he's putting more effort in than David, who's literally able-bodied and just walking around with his hands in his pockets. Then we get to see Kit in the pub with Carl. He sidles up to him and says, it all checks out what he said about the hit and run, but what were you doing with Brody and Dylan? And he says, just telling them how to stay out of trouble. Fizz is alone with Tyrone later and says, maybe we shouldn't give the girls false hope. And Tyrone's like, well, do you not believe in me? I'm not gonna. I need positive energy. Then we get Tracy.
He just needs Bernie to come back on for this extremely extended honeymoon and wave some crystals over him, doesn't
Make a pyramid, like I told everybody on the podcast before. If you make a pyramid out of paper, you can preserve bacon.
Abby doesn't agree with that.
Abby doesn't know anything about Egyptology, so you can shut up, okay? I'm not having back chat from a cat. Right. Tracy sees Carl and Abby and tells them that she wants some money over the way she's telling everybody.
Oh God, that's the story. Is just
what I mean,
things
it's
are
rubbish.
happening on screen as well.
Also,
that's all I can say to this.
Also, I told Michael to make a note that Kit is suspicious of Carl because his name is Carr with an L. So it must be him behind the spate of break-ins and robberies.
Clearly. Oh my gosh, I hope they get to the bottom of this soon. This affair, this flipping Carl and Abby affair. Oh yeah, not having any of it. Right, Theo and Todd. I think we can bash through this pretty quickly because I think we've pretty much said it all earlier. Monday's about them moving into their new pad, and Theo, they've got matching key rings and matching aprons, or nearly matching aprons. Todd says the boss, and Theo says the real boss. So that's
abusive.
A nice way of kind of showing that there's just some level of dominance, and it's supposed to be humorous. But I feel that those aprons are going to come into play at some point.
Do you think that ITV will have them in their shop?
Oh, maybe they'll be on ITV. We loved in a few years as well.
Aprons.
Yeah, maybe. So they go to the flat later. George calls on the intercom, and Todd's like, "Yeah, come up. That's fine." But Theo is absolutely fuming at this. He hates the idea that George is needling his way into their lives, muscling in, when the whole idea is he's trying to get Todd on his own. And I don't think Theo is at this point thinking, "Wahaha, I need to isolate him from everybody." It's almost like an instinctive thing, isn't it? He's not. I don't think he considers himself a coercive control abuser.
Well, it's not abusive to not want somebody around your house.
No. But the clues are building up. He's not a very nice man. So George is invited to stay for a pizza, and Theo is incredibly unsubtle about trying to get him to leave at the end. But George isn't taking the hint and saying, I can have you with the unpacking if you like.
It was great because I think at one point Theo's like, "Oh, do you want to take this pizza home with you?" And he's like, "Yeah." And he goes, "Here you go then, bye." I'm really bad at getting people to leave.
It's hard, yeah.
You always want people to leave more sooner than I do.
Oh, I always want people to leave, yeah. And I would never dare to.
I think it was Rudyard Kipling had a sundial in his garden, and when he was bored of people, he would take them on a tour of his garden, and the sundial on it had "It's later than you think," and he'd go, "Look at that," and it would get people to go home.
That's what he needs. George is helping him unpack, and then we see this picture of was it a landscape picture or something? I can't remember. That turns out to have been
a Lowry
given to him by Billy all these years ago, and Todd.
I don't know. No, I don't think it was. I think it was a housewarming present. I don't think it was an old one.
I thought it was an old one.
Okay,
And anyway, it's from Billy, and to that, that sets alarm bells ringing for Theo, because this is some guy that he's still insanely jealous of, thinking that maybe he's going to try and steal my dear Toddy away from me.
Is he going to end up wearing it as a necklace?
I do wonder whether that picture is going to be smashed over Todd's head at some point.
And then Ryan will pop up. Ryan will pop up and go, "Is this funny? Can I make a joke about this? Or is this serious? I can never tell."
Anyway, George finally gets the hint and leaves, and Todd says, "Look, don't be scared of saying what you want. If you wanted George to leave, you just need to say it."
I think he did.
Yeah. But anyway, they go off to the bonk room later, and they're just always at it. These two, aren't they? They're like rabbits.
No, it's not
every episode.
It's not as romantic.
Like,
It's not as romantic as Lisa and Carla. Lisa and Carla are a little bit more. I mean, when they say bath, I mean inverted commas.
Yeah.
But it is very interesting the difference in the way that these two romances are being portrayed.
It seems to be a little bit more sensual and subtle in the ladies one, isn't
Yeah.
it?
I don't know what to think about it.
Oh,
I don't want. There's always the danger of making it look like, they're trying to. I don't know. It's just can get a bit dodgy I'm glad that they've got two same-sex couples on at the same time.
Well, it's interesting to compare one of them is the healthy, positive relationship with the dead wife come back, and the other one is something that's sinking into something a lot darker.
Yeah,
with no dead relatives on the horizon, it seems.
But it's also good because there is a history of very positive portrayals of gay men relationships on Corrie.
Yeah,
I think that Billy and Paul, their relationship has it paved the way for this abuse one? I don't know, but I think Corrie can hold their heads up.
It's totally fine to say that.
A healthy, diverse spectrum of relationships.
So there was just a couple of scenes of this story on Wednesday, wasn't it?
Speaking,
with Todd mentioning to Theo that he may have a few skeletons in his closet, which
Theo sets him off.
Yeah, he's very worried about because he needs to paint Todd as the squeaky clean, perfect man who. Of course it's fine for the kids to come round. He has custody of them. But yeah, Todd just kind of lets loose about all the dodgy... Well, he doesn't talk about all of them, does he? He says, well, yeah, I was involved in the Calcutta flat scam with Pat Phelan. Yeah, I torched Aiden's van that one time. And I had to fling with the gay gangster once as well. But apart from that, I'm absolutely fine. He doesn't say... I kind of semi-abducted a child once, which he did with Summer, and I think that's probably the one that might end up coming and biting him in the bum when the whole custody of Miles and Millie is up for debate.
It would be the one that would concern me the most if I was involved in some kind of child protection.
It is funny because these things that he was talking about were the old Todd, weren't they? And some of this was very... very on the nose because Theo's saying, at the beginning he's worried, but by the end of the episode he's saying, I'd quite like to have met this old Todd actually. And it's... I think the last time I heard he was a professional photographer. It was quite funny, but anyway, they're going out.
Well, no, Theo is not happy to hear any of this. He's
not eventually, but by the end of it.
Well, no, but there was a weird bit when he's saying, I could lose the kids, and then Todd goes, why don't we just break up?
Oh yes, he does, doesn't he?
Weird.
Yes, and this is, I suppose, this is what makes Theo back down because that's the last thing he wants, to relinquish any control that he's got over Todd.
But can I just say that feels like a kind of manipulative move that Theo would pull?
It wasn't manipulative of Todd.
It felt a bit like it was. Like, we just break up then if you don't like me, if it's too much trouble.
No, I didn't say.
Does it seriously make any sense? Does it really seriously make any sense? You've just moved in together. What do you mean break up for a bit? Does that not look also? Does it not reflect incredibly poorly on you at your child custody case when you're like, I broke up with my boyfriend, and then a month later you're back with him, and then aren't they going to say, were you not just doing this for show?
I just think it's maybe one of these things that you might say on the spur of the moment, and then
I just
given
thought this
consideration,
seemed like the sort of thing you might say if you were a very young and naive person who doesn't know the world works.
Well, anyway,
not Todd.
By the end of the episode, they're on bonking terms again, aren't they? So
to the bonk room.
All's well that ends well there with them, and. That's about all it was in Coronation Street in these two episodes.
Can I just ask another question?
Yes.
Why did they move out of his mum's house to a place that has one spare bedroom when he's trying to get custody of his children?
The bedrooms will appear.
Couldn't theoretically George and Mary moved to that flat where there are two bedrooms, one for each of them? Or maybe George could just bugger off to his own house.
I quite liked it feels like it's moving away from the safety of the house that he's been, on and off living at for the past 25 years. And I know he had all that time living in London, but he even gave a bit of a glance around it. And it's like, oh, I'm finally moving out of this place. And I suppose it's like a stepping into danger kind of. Symbolic from a viewer's perspective, at least. That now he's not got that safety net. He doesn't have his mum to look after him. He's stepping into the big wide world and into a whole heap of trouble.
Is this really the first serious relationship we've ever really seen Todd have on screen, where he's moved in?
No. It says Todd and Sarah moved in together above the bookies for that, didn't they?
How long did that last? But they were kids, though.
Yeah, it's not. They thought they were being very grown up. Yeah, no, I don't think there's.
As an adult, this is like his first.
I can't remember how long he was together with Billy.
I know, but he moved into Billy's place.
Yeah.
I think it's a very significant. I'm not obviously saying anything about people that move into each other's places, because that's different. But it's a completely different vibe, isn't it? To move into somewhere together.
Yeah.
And we've never seen him do it before.
No, I don't think so. That was wasn't it, Gemma?
Yeah, 2.
What is that your score for the week?
2. Abby having red bras, dirty birdie.
So people with red bras are automatically minxes, are they?
Well, that's what she was saying.
2 of Abby's red bras, or 1 point for each cup. Maybe that is.
I don't know.
Do you have a character of the week? Go on, there must be somebody.
I don't bloody know. What a bunch of bloody idiots.
Come on.
Why don't you say what are you scoring it?
It was kind of poor on Monday. I enjoyed Wednesdays more, but I don't know, just talking about it today, it felt like maybe I didn't. But I think maybe I was just relieved that it didn't get any worse after Mondays. And
I was going to say, no. There's nobody that deserves anything.
Dorrin?
No.
For his fantastic drumming?
No.
Evelyn?
The doctor.
What?
That doctor's always coming around and going, oh, sorry.
I'm really sad that the Swallow.
This was bad.
Swain story is.
This was just bad.
Oh. So you're going to give it to Tyrone's doctor this week, are you? For
I really don't like anybody else. Maybe the wardrobe department for making Becky into a frump.
You can't give that.
Well, I can't give it to the
department.
storyline department.
Tyrone's doctor it is. I'm going to give
Dr.
this week's. I'm still going to give this week's character of the week to Becky, probably the second week in a row. I think this is possibly just because I find her intriguing.
Okay.
I feel a bit bad for her, in a way. I'm interested every time she comes on screen. I'm kind of interested, so that's enough for me. I'm giving
kind of interest.
I'm giving these 2 episodes of Coronation Street a combined score of 3 papal visits to Manchester
3?
out of 5. Yeah,
I should have given it because I think there's only been 2.
What?
How many have there been?
Yeah, it's been 2 episodes.
No.
What?
2 visits.
Oh, I don't know how many. I didn't know what they were talking about. Anyway, I feel like we're running out of steam of this
I'm not
desperately.
bothered about the Pope. Is that controversial?
No, it's not at all.
I'm only excited when he dies and when a new one arrives.
Anything.
Also, I was going to say, can we all decide, is Becky Jesus? Because she's risen from the dead.
She wasn't ever dead.
She's not
Gemma.
a zombie.
Pay attention.
Neither was Jesus, was he?
Stop it. Stop trying to bring the supernatural into this. There's a perfectly rational and reasonable explanation.
She's not a zombie. She's Jesus.
Don't
Becky
be so
is
silly.
Jesus.
Don't be so silly.
Aww.
Right, that's it. Let's hope
Jesus would never wear that coat.
Let's hope that we're able to be a bit more positive about this next. I just hope that you are. Because it's a bit of a bummer when you're really into. I'm not scared.
No, but you don't know what to say because you can't. Because I argue better than you do.
I know you're much better arguing.
But it doesn't mean that you don't feel it any. This is what I mean. Just because I can express why I think something doesn't mean I'm right.
And I'm not.
No.
Right, look, let's finish it. Let's say that's the end of Street Talk because we need to get this episode out tonight, because everyone's going to be ahead of us now.
I'm making chicken dumplings.
That is the end of Street Talk.